Hey guys, welcome back with another video. I hope you are doing great. In this tutorial, we will touch base on three topics. First of all, I will show you how we can create a shortcode inside function.php. It means in WordPress. And after that, we will also see how we can fetch the data from the advanced custom field. So we don't need to type any hard coded value over there. And after that, to avoid unnecessary multiple calls from the database, we will also see how we can store those data inside particular transient. So we don't need to call the database again and again. Without wasting time, let's jump into the session. So first of all, if you are using a normal WordPress theme, you will see the functions.php file in your root panel. For example, here you see functions.php. To create a shortcode inside normal WordPress theme, you just need to do like add shortcode, then your shortcode name, and after that the function's name. In this tutorial, I am using Flint theme. What I am doing here, like I am making a different component. So it will help me to identify that particular component, and it also help other developer. So we can write like cleaner code database. Even we are also trying to write optimized code database, right? So basically in this tutorial, I'm working with one website. So in this tutorial, I need a different component. For example, I have created multiple components like navigation footer, navigation main, reusable components, and then SB hub shortcodes. So in this tutorial, I will show you how we can create shortcode inside that function.php. So first of all, if you are using the Flint theme, then you need to you need to write add shortcode. For example, here we are declaring shortcode. So basically it will take first parameter, it will be name of shortcode, and then second parameter will be the function name. Am I clear at this point? So basically here I am defining my shortcode with the name called top SB's hub, and then I'm using Flink. That's why I need to identify this path, and I also need to write down this path in order to run this particular shortcode inside page, post, or anywhere inside your WordPress site. But if you are using normal WordPress theme, you don't need to mention this part. You can directly write like get top SB's hub, right? So here I am identifying this function. So we just click on that and we will see here I define one particular function called get top sbase, right? Then if our shortcode has multiple arguments, for example, you also need to pass some other arguments while you are doing shortcode. For example, here in the shortcode I want to add another parameter called like what will be the post ID or what will be the post content, right? In order to avoid that, what I'm doing, so I'm identifying my post trophy IDs, right? So I have already created like custom post type for that particular field. So I will directly call that particular endpoint, for example w-position w-v2 slash post, and then will be the custom post type. But I already know in this case like my post ID, and I already defining my custom post type inside that. So it will be easy for me to identify those particular parameters, right? So what I am doing here, like I'm checking the field if I'm getting any field from this particular ID. So whenever we are working with advanced custom field, there is a predefined function called get field, and then it will be a like advanced custom field value, like what do you want to fetch from that custom field. So like I want to fetch trophy 1, and then I need to pass a particular post ID, and after that it will check if this post ID is correct or not. If not, then it will go with this ID, right? And then here I am checking my transient. I already talked about this transient before, right? So what my transient does over here. So first of all, to avoid unnecessary call of database query, we are identifying if we are getting anything from this particular transient. So whenever we are defining any transient, what we can do here, we can set transient, and then it will be like the transient name, and then what data we want to store, right? And then how long we want to keep this data inside that particular WP options, right? If we are working with like static data, it's not changing like almost in 1 year, 6 years. We can also increase this time limit over here, right? And then here I am identifying those data from directly here. So what this thing will does, it will identify the field on particular post ID and try to fetch the data. If there is a data inside that particular field, it will be stored inside this transient, and we can get this transient with the help of get transient. So it's common, right? If you want to set particular terms, like for example here I want to set transient in my field, what you can do, set transient and then particular name, and then how long you want to keep this data, right? And after that, if we are not getting anything value from here, then it will call the database. So after it stored the data inside get transient, it won't call this field again and again, but we are fetching those data from that particular transient, right? And then what I am doing here, I am getting this data inside for each loop. For example, trophy 1 data, then trophy 2 data. So it's basically like what I call, it's a database, right? And then I am identifying my advanced custom field inside that particular data. For example, if I want to see this data is outside my application, you just see where dump. It's a predefined function inside this thing, and then I will get rid of this parameter and I will see if I'm getting any point over here, and then I will open up my website over here. For example, yeah, it will take some time, and then here you see the whole data, like what I'm getting here, right? So it gives me all data which is required, and then I will comment this because I don't want to print those data inside my particular file, because I am rendering those as HTML to see the output of that particular function, right? What I am doing, so whenever we are writing anything inside the shortcode, just make sure we are returning those data, right? In this case, I'm returning HTML inside my generate HTML function. So what it will take all the parameter which is required, and we need this information in order to print this shortcode value inside page or post. That's why we are storing those into particular field, right? And in order to keep my code base cleaner, I'm using function, so I don't want to repeat myself again and again. So for example, generate HTML is a function, and here you see, right, I'm identifying my HTML output here, right? If I don't build this function over here, then I will need to repeat this code again and again inside my each for each loop, right? That's, I don't want that. It will help you to write your database cleaner, and code base will also be clean if we approach this thing, right? And then I am passing my attributes like parameters of that particular function, and I know I already have like the HTML and CSS, which is predefined design for in this case. So I just want to change this value, right? I don't want to play with design again and again. Design will be the same, right? That's why I'm identifying those parameters, and then I'm using this function with a different value. So what it will take, so in this tutorial I'm playing with Tailwind CSS, and I also define some of the classes to have like the style.css and everything. After that, it's a normal HTML and CSS. For example, here I'm echoing like particular image output as an image, then I'm passing alt attribute to that particular image to increase the SEO and all stuff, right? And then again, it's a repeated code, and in this I also need to do like some mathematical calculation to display the particular review, because I'm displaying the bonus rating, and then I'm using the width and then calci operator in order to display the rating, right? And then this is the image that I'm calling here, which will be the constant. Just exchange like the bonus rating, then it will be the sportsbook name, and then deposit rating. So it's predefined variable which will be changing over the time, and we are fetching those data from the advanced custom field, right? And then again, we already have those data, and we are running generate HTML function in each loop, right? And that's all about that shortcode. And whenever you type this inside your page or post, it will be out this HTML, right? And for example, here we can also do this thing like for example, if I'm getting this thing, right, we can use the ternary operator, and then we will see like the post trophy ID, it will be 58463. If not, then I would like to go with post trophy ID equal to 58262. So this is the same thing I am writing here, but it's a different way. It's called a ternary operator in PHP, which is common in most of the languages. So first it will check this condition. If yes, then my post trophy ID will be 58463, and if not, then my post ID will be 58262, right? And to avoid this calling, we can also declare this thing inside over here, so we don't want to check this again and again. For example, here I am identifying this thing, right? So it won't check again and again this condition, but it will check. Once we don't have any data from this field, then it will call this ternary operator. So it will also reduce the time to call that particular database, right? And this will be like Tailwind CSS, like font bold, and then I'm using the font family called font molish, and then it will be the text, right? Text color. And if you want to see this data, let's say I would like to 58462 or just 484. Let me confirm it again. 58262 maybe. Okay. And here you see the whole data that I am using over here as a shortcode, right? So this will shortcode my looks like. Here is the mobile design as well. For example, this first sports book, then second sports book, and third sports book, right? So that's pretty much it about this shortcode. And if you guys have any question, feel free to reach out through comment. I'm happy to help you guys. So that's all about it. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye bye. Take care. We will catch you up in the next one.